Let me ask you a question. For your goals for 2022, or maybe your vision of your best year, how much of it includes rest? You see, you and I often live into the mentality of the grind culture, do it yourself, take no breaks, because if you do, that means you're not effective or strong. When we try to take everything on ourselves, we probably experience, and I don't know about you, but at least for me, I experience the week as an unruly mess that is out of control. Time just slips through my fingers, and I look back on my week or my month, I realize that I haven't spent it very well. That way of living is not the way of Jesus, I would say, and I also would say that it's not the way that you and me are designed to be human. I know that sounds odd, but the solution to your soul being continually drained is not justification, even though that could be part of it. What it really needs is a Sabbath. I'm going to be quoting a lot from Dan Allender here. And so Dan Allender says, talking about his experience with his friend, the day my friend calls a Sabbath is merely a day mostly off from the mundane and pressured realities of work. It is not a bad day or a day ill-used. It is merely pleasant. So the idea of Sabbath to you and me sounds so foreign and so weird and out of touch and impossible to do, because when I say the word Sabbath, a lot of people think of cross-legged on the floor, humming meditation, not doing anything, not even turning on a light, just focusing all your energy on God. Or maybe the Sabbath to you is kind of taking a day off and watching Netflix or being on TikTok all day and just really getting away from reality. I would suggest that both of those definitions of Sabbaths, or the way we live it, is not correct. There's so much to talk about Sabbath, but I'm going to briefly break it down to things that you and I can do in our culture this week, today. And so first, when we talk about Sabbath and taking a break and devoting some time to God, a lot of people think that it's depriving ourselves of things we like to do. When in reality, Sabbath is actually based around your deepest joy. So let me ask you a question. What is your deepest joy? If you know what that is, do it on the Sabbath. That's the purpose of it. Your deepest joy, the things you love to do, is a pillar of the Sabbath, because the things you love to do is not really browse Netflix. One of the things I love to do most deeply is to go surfing. That's something that I feel like God has created me to do, to catch a wave, have fun with people, and relate to nature and to others and to God, just in the water on my board. So what is the thing that makes you come alive? Is it surfing? Maybe it's creating something with your hands. Maybe it's painting. Maybe it's something else, hanging out with people, having a good conversation over some coffee. Whatever is your deepest joy. Next, pillar of Sabbath is a time of solitude and silence. This is easily the hardest one, probably for you and me to do because of our Western culture and vision of life and how we structure our days. We don't have a lot of time for silence and solitude, and for a lot of people that actually signifies something ethereal that's hard to grasp, or it's unproductive and not really useful. But you and me need a time of quiet before the Lord. And this is different than life journaling and S.O.A.P and trying to learn things about God. It's just a time where we receive love from God. I talked about this previously in our prayer series last year, so if you want to go check that out, you can. And Dan Allender says this about Sabbath silence. Silence enables us to see the characters on the stage who are antagonists, decidedly committed to robbing us of our delight. So when we spend time before God, He gives us the perspective we need to help us to structure our life around Him and to see what's robbing us of our joy or delight or satisfaction. Silence is crucial to rest, especially with you and me are so overwhelmed by so many messages in our lives. And so we need this time of silence and solitude. In a second, we'll get to how to structure that into a day of rest. But just know that you and me need this time no matter what, even if it's 5 minutes alone with God. We need to hang out with God, not with a book between us and Him or us writing something. That could be part of it, but we need that silence and solitude just to hang out with God, just sitting around on the lanai with God. Lastly, a good Sabbath is structured and purposeful. It doesn't have to be extremely planned, but it is structured and it does have a purpose. If this is all intimidating and very odd and weird, that's okay. You can incorporate this idea of Sabbath in phases in your life. So maybe wake up in the morning, start with 5 minutes of just silence before God, and then schedule out a time where you do the thing you love to do the most, the thing that brings you the most joy. We all have responsibilities still, we have families, we have things to take care of, and I get that. However, if we were not to make an effort to put God first, that shows a lot about our hearts, and it really shows that there's something a lot deeper, that we don't trust God with our time. Let's take this journey together to trust God and to find our delight in Him, to practice our delight in Him, to practice finding joy in God, finding joy in the things we love to do the most, to practice organizing our time, to put the reps in, to enjoy God. The Sabbath is a glimpse into what it's like to live with Jesus when He returns. It's a glimpse into the kingdom of God where you and me can freely and without shame do the things we love to do without productivity and things to do before God. So I'm inviting you on this journey with me, and if you want to kind of dive in a little bit more to different types of prayer that can really help you Sabbath well, we did a whole prayer series last year that you can check out on the blog. I would invite you to do that. And I will see you either on midweek, the weekend, or email, text, or anything like that. So I hope to see you soon. Aloha.